Hey kids, it is Christmas Eve and I'm at work. So I found myself busy for this weekend, and I wanted to do at least one more Christmas horror movie. What I chose is actually a thriller called The Apology. It stars Anna Gunn, who we all know from Breaking Bad, and Linus, I think it's called, his last name is Roach? Odd name. He was, Batman's father from the Christopher Nolan films. Anyway, this is about a woman who's a recovering alcoholic. Her daughter, who was 16 at the time, 20 years ago, had disappeared. And she is about to entertain her family the next day on Christmas, when she gets a knock at the door from Jack, who is Linus, who she hasn't seen in, you guessed it, 20 years. What ends up happening is he wants to tell her the truth about her daughter. And he admits that he killed her. Of course, his explanation is a little askew. It doesn't really make much sense. And of course, Darlene, who is Anna Gunn, can tell that. Of course, she's thrown for a loop that all these years she was hoping her daughter would come back or be found safe, but this was confirmation that she's dead and she was killed. Possibly murdered by this man. He goes through a period of blaming the victim. She wasn't the person that you think she was, that type of thing. And Darlene was drunk all the time. She probably had issues and such. But what Jack details is that he had picked her up. I guess she was walking home, and he takes her to a remote area along a lake, I think it was. And even though this is her uncle, they start kissing. During the kiss, she has a different point of view than she had for a second, and she panics, and he restrains her, and it eventually breaks her neck. This movie, for probably the first, I'd say about a half hour into about 40 minutes, is kind of dull. I mean, the film is definitely a showcase for Anna Gunn, but it feels like it's a short movie that was spread out through a 90-minute running time. I think it probably could have easily been done as a hour-long movie. But the director and writer, Alison Locke, she's only has done short movies. She did 2 short movies before this movie. And what it feels like is she had an idea for another short movie, but she ended up getting a deal where she can actually, do a feature-length film. We have a neighbor played by Janeane Garofalo, who is in the beginning, and she's part of the end of the film. I haven't seen Janeane Garofalo in years, but she's pretty incidental. She's there to pack some meat into it. Play called Extremities. Vastly different situation, but it is the closest that I've ever seen. A woman who's being raped gets the better of her rapist and locks him up into the fireplace, and she's thinking of killing him. This is definitely a different situation, and probably about the last half hour of this movie, it does get violent. It does. It wakes up. Maybe about 45 minutes into it, it ends up waking up. It's not that bad. It's just I felt it. It doesn't really have enough meat on it for a 90-minute runtime. Possibly if we get backstories. I mean, we get a little bit more backstory on Darlene because of her alcoholism, but we don't really know that much about Jack. And that could have helped, but this is definitely a modest budget movie, and if you could get past that first half hour, 40 minutes, it isn't that bad. It's definitely on the horror network, but we know that Shudder also has thrillers, and this is more of a thriller than horror. And well, that's it for Christmas Eve. Till next time, stay safe, stay warm, always have a good time. Bye now.